going on YouTube? Colorado Hellcat coming at you from the garage today. Today's video is going to be on the 5 things I personally think you should do to your Hellcat as soon as you get it. This isn't a mod guide or anything like that. This is just what I personally do. This is my second Hellcat, and these are the 5 things that I think you should do to make it more of your car or what you're going for. Maybe different from what I go for, but I feel that some of these are necessary. So you go ahead and tell me what you think here, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So we're in the garage here. We got the Hellcat in. I think it's 24 degrees outside today. Was supposed to go get my oil change. First oil change, got 1,200 miles on it. So we're going to take it down there, but the snow is kind of flying, so I don't know if we'll get that done today. So first and foremost on the Hellcat, what I think you should get done first, depending on how yours comes from the factory, window tinting. When I got my first Hellcat, I had some sort of smoked window, paint from the factory on here. These windows were actually clear, no smoke, tint, nothing on them when I picked it up. Some people like to fishbowl. That is not me. So I went ahead and went with the 5%. Around all windows, and I did a 40% on the windshield. It looks super dark in the garage. Still looks pretty dark outside, but you can see through it. You can see into it for the most part. It does help with heat and security as well. People can't see what's in there. So that's one of the things, that I did first. I do add these on there when I go in. Your little side markers here are red in the back, and they are yellow or orange in the front. I don't like that. I like to clean up the look, so I tint those as well while I'm at it. So, second thing I think you should do to your Hellcat is cold air intake. I went with the JLT cold air intake this time. Doesn't really matter. Leg Maker, B Woody, they all do the same thing. I heard good things about JLT, so I went with JLT. The reason I would recommend to do your cold air intake is obviously the car's going to breathe better. You're going to get better airflow into the engine, but you also wake that blower sound up. A lot of people like that whine sound. I know I do. I love a supercharger whine, so that's why I went with cold air intake. Wakes up the supercharger. You can hear it. Also, it's a mod that you'll need down the road if you're going to add more power to the vehicle. So cold air intake, number 2 in my book for sure. Number 3 in my book would be a catch can. You guys, if you've been tuning into my channel, you've seen the install on the Billet Technology catch can. These hoses are not braided. I got the braided. They're on their way. Can't wait to replace them. That'll clean that look up a bit. But a catch can, another mod that you're going to need as you go down the road to make you more power. It's necessary. It is needed. Catching all that blow by and stuff. Plus, it's a nice piece of jewelry for the engine bay there, if you ask me. So, number 3 for me would be a catch can. There's JLT, Billet Technologies, UPR, tons of different brands out there. They're all essentially going to do the same thing. It's kind of, personal preference on what you think and what you like about the car, or about the catch can that you want to add to your car, excuse me. So number 4 on this list, which I think might be one of the most important, because we all know if you've had your Hellcat, the tires they come with suck. The wide bodies here come with way better, not tires, but the width of the tire alone, being a 305 now, help a ton on hooking up at the road and such. It still is not enough to put, 707 crank horsepower, whatever you're making to the wheel, down to the road. I had a 2018 Hellcat that came with 275s on it. I used those to, create some smoky clouds, do some burnouts, and smoked them off, and went up to a 295 as what I felt as comfortable getting on the stock wheel on those non-wide body Hellcats. And I went with a Nitto on that. The G2, it was alright. Not a huge fan of it for a rear tire as far as, contacting the road goes. It did help a ton, but, the new Hellcats here, the wide body Hellcats come with, I believe they're 11-inch wheels now and 305s. But I would still upgrade this tire. It's just not sufficient for what you're trying to do. So there's good options out there, you know, a ton of variety for what you're trying to do. As you'll see here, excuse my garage, it's a mess. I have the Nitto NT, the NT05Rs here. These are gonna go on. I'm just waiting for some heat in Colorado as we're in winter, and you'll see these are 315s by 20s. So those are drag radials. You can go that route if you want. I don't think it's necessary. I know how I'm gonna drive my car coming up here, so that's what I went with. Either way, they're gonna help you a ton. Tires would be my number one priority for upgrade list on your Hellcat. So number 5, I don't really have a strong number 5. This is where it can sway a little bit for some people. This one's going to be hard to document, so I'm just going to talk about it. I can walk over and show you what I took off the vehicle, but I did a mid-muffler delete on the vehicle. I know it's not performance-based or, you know, exactly what, you know, some people recommend, but I didn't feel like dumping all my money as I'm saving for power mods into a full exhaust system. I just wanted to wake it up and make it sound like a Hellcat. So taking these guys off here, let me grab these. So these are the mid mufflers. I took these off. All they do is cut them off with a hacksaw basically, and weld you a nice 3-inch straight pipe on those mid mufflers there, about the length of those mufflers. So you can see those there. That's what they look like. Nothing crazy, but that is one thing that, you know, I like to do to mine. It wakes them up, makes them sound like a muscle car. Not that they sound bad stock, but definitely sound a lot better than stock. So that's what I did. And when I was thinking of doing this video, that was one of my mods or first 5 upgrades you want to do. But I think what really sets in stone for the 5th spot here would be a correct coating on your car, whatever that may be. If you want to pay somebody, you know, X amount of dollars to coat your car and you know, ceramic coat it and paint correct it and detail it. I mean, I don't necessarily think there's a ton of paint correction unless it was destroyed from the, you know, shipping to the dealership and stuff like that. But, you know, putting some sort of protection down on the clear coat above your paint is a good idea, you know. I ended up just clay barring mine, as you've seen if you've watched my other videos, and doing my own little, you know, hyper wax treatment here in the garage. As you can see, it's shining still. I took this, man, I have put 400 miles on this since I last washed it, and it's still got some shine. I mean, you got the dust in the back and stuff that I can wipe off, but you can see, I mean, it's not the best of the best that you'll see on YouTube as far as detail, but for my first time and a quick job, I think it turned out good. So, you know, personally, I think you know, a tie between your exhaust, you know, if you're into that kind of thing and making it sound a little better, or not, but you got to protect your investment. These are expensive vehicles, and you got to protect the paint on these things, and it's very important to do so. So that would be, you know, a bigger priority to me. But the thing is you know, a mid muffler delete's like $150 to do. You can do it yourself if you know how to weld real nice. But those are, you know, kind of a tie. As I get further into this, you know, I see that detailing is kind of fun, and it's a hobby, and I take pride in it, and I have passion in doing it. And so, you know, that's definitely one that's higher up on my list than it would have been, you know, a couple months ago. That's for sure. So with that being said, those are my five or six things you could call it to, you know, do to your Hellcat first. you can do whatever you want, whether it's scat pack, you know, whatever. It might change, but you know, some of the first things I mentioned, you know, the window tinting, that's a personal preference, but to me that's important. It ties in the look with the vehicle. Number two, the cold air intake. I mean, you can't go wrong with a cold air intake. You know, you're adding better airflow. You're adding some power. We'll leave that up to debate, but you know, on the Hellcats, you're waking up the blower. The scat packs, you can't be doing nothing but good for it. Also, scat. I had a Jeep, a regular Jeep SRT that I put a catch can on and a cold air intake on. It's just something that doesn't hurt to have on there. So 3, catch can, huge. You go to your tuner, your horsepower shop, and say, hey, this is what I want to do. They're going to put a catch can on there. So if you know you're working your way up to that, you're not going to go wrong with a catch can. Number 4, the tires, huge. I mean, I can't speak enough to this. You know, some people like to slide their vehicle around and stuff. That's not me. I'm in it for, you know, a comfortable cruise, but I also want to hook up with the road when I want to get on it and you know, hurt some feelings. not necessarily, but I would like to think so. You know, when I want to get out and race the car, that's what I want to do, is I want to hook up with the road. So that's, you know, one of my most important things. And then a tie again between the exhaust. That's up to you. You know, if you like the sound, the mid muffler does not put cabin drone in there for me. I haven't had that experience or bad experience with that happening on both of my Hellcats. Just wakes it up on a cold start. You know, at idle it's a little louder, and a wide open throttle it's a little louder. Outside of that, you don't really notice it inside the vehicle much. Definitely outside you do, which is a good thing. That's why we do it, right? But I would say priority over that would be your detail job. You know, if you take the time to learn the process and buy the products, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, and I'm talking a lot of money. If you don't feel comfortable doing it and not taking anything away from the professional guys, they do a killer job. If you know somebody and trust somebody, they're going to do a killer job. Pay them, you know, pay them to do it. But personally, for me, no one's going to take care of my vehicle like I'm going to take care of it. And so that's why I took the time into figuring out what the detailing process is, the detailing flow chart, as I've talked about, and figuring out what products I wanted to try and just going for it. And I couldn't be happier with doing it. And so protecting your investment by protecting the paint of the vehicle is key, in my opinion. So this is my video on the 5 things, I guess you could call it 6, if things you want to do the Hellcat. I mean, this is all personal. This is not professional advice or anything like that. If you have any questions, feel free to hit the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. I'm trying to grow. I have a lot more content coming around. We're going to do some walkarounds and some really cool rides here soon as it warms up in Colorado. And we're going to get the cat into the shop here to mod it. We're going to probably throw some power adders at it and see what we can make. So stay tuned to that, and thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time. Peace.